clipping path, but a copy and the alrighty. Let's see. Still, it's not big enough. Okay, so I need it to be around this size. Can I just do that and be happy with it? There's enough grain in here that I'm actually okay with that. And I'm a little concerned with Bella in it. So I'm actually going to bring Bella into this before I'm ready to have her. So I have 3 images that I am considering. And I think this is my image. Yeah, I really like this one. I like this crown. So this is going to be my queen. Add it into Photoshop. And I'm just going to do very quick so I can start actually figuring out how all these pieces fit together. Copy and paste. And I want her feet to be on the floor, so it's just figuring out where that size is, and the hands need to reach the blocks. I think this is right. Let's change the opacity so we can really see a little bit better. So I believe that there. And she's a little too wide or not centered. That, I think, works. Yeah, that works pretty well. I'm just gonna touch her over a tiny bit. All right, so let's bring her up. And before I make a lot of changes to her, I want to try to fix the fitting on the dress. And I'm gonna take this bruise. I don't know if that's a bruise or a birthmark, actually. She's a very active girl, so the likelihood that it's a bruise is pretty high. But since it was just catching my eye, I love all of her freckles. I want to keep all of those. I'm going to just take some of this. Her hand looks good. Okay, I don't like this wrinkle in her dress there. And this dress was mostly fit her pretty well. It was a little big here, I think. So I just want to adjust this level. So being in, yeah, and I don't like this right here. So I'm going to do a box around here. This is a trick. If you like liquefy, but you don't need to liquefy the entire piece, you can just select what you need to liquefy and bring that in. It will work faster because it's not chugging to bring all of that extra information in. I don't remember when I first learned that, but it was really kind of a game changer in the fact that I'm like, oh, I don't need, if I'm just going to liquefy this tiny little spot, I don't need to bring all of this other stuff in here. Okay, I have it set for the more advanced liquefy settings, which has more things here. If you're just going in for the first time, you're not going to have all those options. I'm pasting a freeze mask on her arm. Basically, it says do not alter what you see underneath the freeze mask. It lets me use a bigger thing to push this in here. A bigger brush, sorry. Thing in this case is brush. I am stretching pixels right there, so I want to be careful that I don't stretch them too far. But that line of the dress looks a lot better. I'll probably lighten this right here so it doesn't look as contorted. I'm going to bring this, I'm going to delete that little bit there. Delete, that's weird to say. I'm just going to mess with it. I could have frozen this part of her arm, but I'm just going to be very careful. But yeah, this is a little awkward. So this little swirl, once I get back out of liquefy, I will just clone over to give it a slightly better look. And there we go. And just so you can see the difference, I'm gonna between what I did and what was there before. So this is the new version. Oops. That's the old version? No. That's the old version. So here is what I want, or closer to what I want, and that's where it was. So I'm not trying to, change her body shape. I'm actually just trying to change, in this case, I'm literally trying to change the shape of the dress to match her actual body, because we were dealing with a dress that didn't quite fit her. So I'm coming through, and this is going to be my first layer to do this change here. And I'm just doing it with the stamp tool. And I'm coming through here. And it's not elegant yet. Now I'm switched over to the healing brush. Healing brush is going to make things blend. Stamp tool just does exactly what it was, but healing tool is going to make it blend. I'm looking just to get rid of the big gap that makes it look like the dress was ill-fitting. That's not the look I was going for. Ill-fitting was never part of the plan. But I will go through and use the stamp tool sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, just simply to get the color where I need it to be so it doesn't pick up some weird shades that I don't want it to pick up. All right. And I'm going to back out, because if you do too much too close in, you start to lose the idea, the theory behind what you're doing. Not the theory, the story behind what you're doing. I'm going to paint the color over top in here. And I'm going to, should have checked on this. No, it's good. Oops. And now I'm back in Lightroom. There we go. Just light, trying to get rid of that. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to overlay the, oh no, soft light, a little bit better. Actually, I think I'm just going to do normal and bring down the edges here, and then I'm going to blur. Now I painted this on its own layer so I can really keep control of that. But yeah, that's working a lot better. Oops, I thought it was. Now I don't like it as much. Let's see. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to change the opacity of the brush. So this lets me build up color slowly, because I want to keep some of that shadow, but the edges are just looking a little harsh right now. All right, and now I'm going to go over to the other side, and I'm going to work on getting rid of this right here. Now I could have done this with a dodge and burn, and some people would say, oh, that's going to work better. I just find dodge and burn feels a little too permanent, and this lets me get some of the same effect with less permanent things. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to draw a box over what I just did because I had already done a Gaussian blur and I don't want to re-blur the other area, but I do want to get that blur there. Good. All right. So that's already looking a lot more like it fits her better. I can be really fussy about it. And I think I'm gonna do a little bit more in here. Where's my brush? I'm not on a brush anymore. So coming in here, just the way that you can tell that it was going in is because it's dark. You know, shadow is something that's receding, or is shadow. You know, like if the satin is shadowed, it's either got something casting a shadow on it, or it was falling back. Oops. Don't do that. It was falling back in and it was creating a shadow on itself. Again, I don't want to re-blur the stuff I've already blurred. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur, get off the layer that you're not supposed to be in. And then find Gaussian blur again. And there you go. So basically it's just a layer that I've done painting on. So if you look, you can see the shadows that I've lightened. It's not huge, but I think it does help to add this. I love this dress. This dress was part of my opera thing, and it was, you know, the person who wore this was very, very short. Not that Bella's very short, but she's still growing, and the length of it fit her fine. It was bustier than she is, but she's 13, so she shouldn't be that busty, which is why I deliberately took that in. So I like the proportions I'm seeing. I want to move Bella and the throne a little higher in the image. And now I'm going to start doing, I'm going to use Photoshop. A lot of people say, oh, you can just fix it in Photoshop. And a lot of things you can fix in Photoshop. But I'm going to tell you, sometimes it's a lot easier, especially if you're just doing one image. Like I'm just doing one image with this dress. So there were some wrinkles, and it's like, okay, I can fix those wrinkles in Photoshop if they bother me. And it's always if they bother me. If it doesn't bother me, then I'm not going to worry about it. But if I had been doing a series where I was going to be making the same edit to 15 or more images, don't fix it in Photoshop, steam the dress. It's just, it's all about what's going to be the most, you know, if it's something that you don't have to fix, then